Birdman just dropped a bombshell that has the entire internet buzzing, and it's about to change everything you thought you knew about Toni Braxton. The cash money mogul didn't hold back when he exposed what he claims are her true motives behind their relationship. And let me tell you, it's messier than anyone imagined. We're talking about secret ceremonies, hidden agendas, and financial desperation that goes deeper than you'd ever expect from a Grammy-winning icon. What started as a fairy tale romance has turned into one of the most shocking celebrity scandals of the year, with accusations flying that paint Toni in a completely different light. Birdman's revelations involve a marriage that lasted exactly 2 days, millions in debt, and a pattern of behavior that has people questioning everything. The truth about what really happened behind closed doors is about to be exposed, and trust me, you're not ready for it. And real quick, if you like getting the unfiltered side of hip-hop drama, make sure you hit subscribe. You won't want to miss what's next. Here's where things get absolutely wild. On August 8, 2024, Toni Braxton and Birdman secretly tied the knot in what should have been the beginning of their happily ever after. But here's the kicker. This wasn't some romantic elopement like the media tried to spin it. Just 48 hours after saying "I do," the couple had already separated, making this one of the shortest celebrity marriages in recent history. 2 weeks later, divorce papers were filed, citing that their union was irretrievably broken. Now think about that for a second. How does a relationship go from wedding bells to lawyers in 14 days? The timing raises serious questions about what Toni's real intentions were from the start. Sources close to the situation reveal that tensions exploded almost immediately after the ceremony, with heated arguments about money and future plans dominating their brief time as husband and wife. The whole thing screams desperation, and when you dig into Toni's financial history, the pieces start falling into place in the most disturbing way possible. What Birdman discovered about Toni's financial past would make anyone run for the hills. And it explains exactly why he's speaking out now. This isn't just about one bad financial decision. We're looking at a decades-long pattern of reckless spending and financial mismanagement that's absolutely mind-blowing. In 1998, Toni filed for bankruptcy despite being at the peak of her career, claiming she owed between $10 million to $50 million to creditors. But here's where it gets really crazy. She blamed her record label for the mess, saying they weren't paying her enough. Fast forward to 2010, and lightning struck twice when she filed for bankruptcy again, this time owing nearly $50 million in debt. The court documents from these cases read like a horror story of financial irresponsibility that would shock you to your core. The spending habits that came to light during these proceedings are absolutely insane. We're talking about someone who spent hundreds of thousands on home decor while drowning in debt. Court records show she was dropping massive amounts on flatware. Yes, flatware, while creditors were breathing down her neck. She had luxury cars, multiple properties, and a lifestyle that was completely unsustainable given her actual income. The woman was living like she had unlimited money while her debts were piling up to astronomical levels. What's even more disturbing is how she seemed to treat bankruptcy as a get-out-of-jail-free card, using it as a way to reset her finances without actually changing her spending behavior. The pattern here is crystal clear. Toni has a history of living way beyond her means and then finding ways to escape the consequences. When you look at this track record and then see her rushing into marriage with one of hip-hop's wealthiest moguls, the math starts doing itself. Birdman's worth hundreds of millions, and here's someone with a proven track record of financial disasters suddenly wanting to lock him down legally. The timing of everything becomes incredibly suspicious when you understand just how deep her money problems really go. But the bankruptcy filings were just the tip of the iceberg, and what happened next would expose Toni's true character in ways that nobody saw coming. During her 2010 bankruptcy case, federal prosecutors hit her with fraud allegations that painted a picture of deliberate deception and manipulation that goes way beyond simple overspending. The centerpiece of these accusations involved a $53,000 transfer to her ex-husband Kerry Lewis that happened right before she filed for bankruptcy protection. Now, this wasn't some innocent mistake or oversight. Prosecutors alleged this was a calculated move to hide assets from creditors who were trying to recover the millions she owed them. The details that emerged during the court proceedings are absolutely damning. Investigators discovered that Toni had been systematically moving money around, trying to shield her assets from the people she legally owed. She was accused of transferring significant amounts to family members and close associates, essentially playing shell games with her finances while claiming she was broke. The $53,000 painted to her ex-husband was just one piece of a much larger puzzle that showed a pattern of fraudulent behavior designed to cheat the system. Federal bankruptcy trustees don't throw around fraud allegations lightly. This was serious criminal behavior that could have landed her in prison if fully prosecuted. What makes this even more outrageous is how she handled the legal aftermath. Instead of coming clean and taking responsibility, Toni fought these allegations tooth and nail, dragging out expensive legal battles that cost everyone involved hundreds of thousands in additional fees. Court documents show her legal team employed every delay tactic possible, filing motion after motion to avoid accountability. The whole circus went on for months, with creditors getting more frustrated and the fraud allegations becoming more detailed and damning with each court filing. The bankruptcy trustees' investigation revealed a web of financial deception that showed Toni wasn't just bad with money, she was actively trying to defraud the people she owed. They found evidence of hidden bank accounts, unreported income streams, and asset transfers that happened right before filing for protection. This wasn't someone who made innocent mistakes with their finances. This was calculated fraud designed to protect her lifestyle while screwing over everyone else. When you understand this level of deception and manipulation, her sudden marriage to Birdman takes on a completely different meaning, and you start to see why he's finally decided to expose the truth about who she really is. The relationship between Birdman and Toni has been a masterclass in manipulation and mixed signals that spans over a decade, and when you look at the timeline, her calculated moves become crystal clear. This whole saga started back in 2016 when they first went public, but what most people don't realize is how Toni has been playing a long game of financial chess that would make your head spin for years. She's been dangling the possibility of marriage in front of Birdman while simultaneously denying engagement rumors whenever it suited her narrative. The back-and-forth pattern shows someone who knew exactly what they were doing and how to keep a wealthy man hooked without fully committing. In 2018, engagement rumors started swirling when Toni was spotted wearing what looked like a massive diamond ring. But instead of confirming or denying it straight up, she played coy, giving interviews where she'd smile and deflect questions about their future together. Meanwhile, Birdman was out there professing his love publicly, posting about her on social media, and clearly believing they were heading towards something permanent. The power dynamic was obvious. He was all in emotionally, while she kept him guessing about her true intentions. Social media posts from this period tell a fascinating story when you know what to look for. By 2019, the contradictions became impossible to ignore. Toni would post cryptic messages about knowing your worth and not settling, while Birdman continued showering her with expensive gifts and public declarations of love. She'd appear at events without him, then show up together at others, creating this constant cycle of uncertainty that kept everyone guessing. Friends close to the situation say this was deliberate. She was maintaining just enough distance to keep her options open while enjoying all the financial benefits of being associated with him. The most telling part of this timeline is how her public statements never matched the private reality. In interviews, she'd talk about being independent and not needing a man, but behind the scenes, she was reportedly asking Birdman for help with her ongoing financial problems. Sources reveal that during their off periods, she'd still reach out when bills needed paying or when legal fees mounted up from her bankruptcy aftermath. She mastered the art of keeping him emotionally invested while maintaining plausible deniability about their actual relationship status. What's really disturbing is how she used social media to manipulate public perception throughout this entire period. She'd post inspirational quotes about self-love and independence right after Birdman had bailed her out of another financial crisis. The contradiction between her public image as a strong, independent woman and her private dependence on his wealth creates a picture of someone who was playing a very dangerous game. By 2023, the pattern had become so obvious that people in their inner circle started questioning her motives. But Birdman remained blind to what was really happening until that fateful wedding day when everything finally came crashing down. To understand why Birdman is finally breaking his silence, you need to grasp the massive wealth gap that made him such an attractive target in the first place. We're talking about a man who built cash money records from absolutely nothing into an empire worth over $100 million. While Toni was simultaneously filing bankruptcy papers and dodging creditors, Brian "Birdman" Williams didn't just stumble into wealth. He created a hip-hop dynasty that discovered and developed some of the biggest names in the industry, from Lil Wayne to Drake. His net worth sits comfortably in the hundreds of millions, making him one of the wealthiest figures in hip-hop history. Now imagine being in his position and slowly realizing that the woman you love might be more interested in your bank account than your heart. The cash money empire represents decades of smart business decisions, calculated risks, and genuine hustle that built something legendary in the music industry. Birdman owns masters, publishing rights, real estate, and multiple revenue streams that generate millions annually without him having to lift a finger. He's the kind of wealthy where financial problems simply don't exist. If he wants something, he buys it. End of story. This level of financial security makes him incredibly attractive to someone drowning in debt, and the contrast between his success and Toni's repeated failures creates the perfect storm for exploitation. What's eating at Birdman now is how long it took him to see the pattern that everyone around him was trying to point out. Sources close to him reveal that his inner circle had been warning him for years about Toni's financial motivation, but love made him blind to the obvious red flags. They watched him pay off her debts, cover her legal fees, and fund her lifestyle while she maintained this facade of independence. His friends and business associates could see what was happening, but Birdman was too emotionally invested to accept that he was being played by a master manipulator. The breaking point came when he realized that the secret wedding wasn't about love or commitment. It was about legal access to his wealth. In those 2 days of marriage, Toni's behavior allegedly shifted dramatically, with conversations immediately turning to joint accounts, property transfers, and financial arrangements that would have given her significant claim to his assets. Sources say she had lawyers ready to move on paperwork that would have secured her financial future, regardless of whether the marriage lasted. This calculated approach to what should have been the most romantic moment of their relationship opened his eyes to the reality of what had been happening all along. Birdman's decision to speak out now comes from a place of genuine hurt mixed with anger at being deceived for so long. He's not just wealthy, he's smart. And realizing that someone spent years studying his weaknesses and exploiting his emotions for financial gain has left him feeling foolish and betrayed. The man who built an empire through reading people and making strategic moves got completely outplayed by someone whose only strategy was emotional manipulation combined with financial desperation. His public statements aren't just about warning others. They're about reclaiming his narrative and exposing the truth about someone who almost succeeded in the ultimate long-term con game. Just when you thought this story couldn't get any more twisted, January 2025 brought a plot twist that nobody saw coming and exposed the true depths of this manipulative game. The divorce petition that was filed just weeks after their secret wedding was suddenly dismissed, leaving everyone scratching their heads and wondering what kind of behind-the-scenes deal-making was really going on. But here's where things get absolutely insane. Sources close to the situation reveal that this dismissal wasn't about reconciliation or love conquering all. Instead, it appears to be the result of some serious legal maneuvering that has everything to do with money and nothing to do with romance. The timing of this dismissal is incredibly suspicious when you consider what was at stake financially. Legal experts who've been following the case point out that dismissing divorce proceedings right after filing can be a strategic move to avoid certain financial disclosures that would have been required during the divorce process. Think about it. If the divorce had proceeded, Birdman's legal team would have had the right to investigate every aspect of Toni's finances, including any hidden assets, undisclosed debts, and questionable financial arrangements that might have surfaced during discovery. By getting the case dismissed, she potentially avoided having her entire financial history dragged through the courts and exposed to public scrutiny. What makes this even more disturbing is that neither party is being clear about their actual relationship status right now. They're not posting together on social media. They're not making public appearances as a couple. And sources say they're barely communicating outside of legal matters. Yet somehow, they're technically still married after the divorce dismissal, creating this bizarre legal limbo that serves nobody except someone who might be trying to maintain certain legal rights without the emotional commitment. It's like watching someone trying to have their cake and eat it too, except the cake is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The financial motivations behind this entire circus have become impossible to ignore, especially when you look at what Toni stands to gain by remaining legally married to Birdman, even if they're living completely separate lives. Marriage laws in their state would give her significant claims to assets acquired during the marriage, and there are legal protections and benefits that come with being a spouse that she'd lose immediately upon divorce. Meanwhile, Birdman is reportedly consulting with forensic accountants and legal experts to understand exactly what his exposure is and how to protect his wealth from someone who's proven repeatedly that she'll use any legal avenue available to access money that isn't rightfully hers. Industry insiders are calling this whole situation a masterclass in financial manipulation that makes her previous bankruptcy schemes look like amateur hour. We're watching someone who's turned relationship manipulation into an art form, using marriage laws and legal procedures as weapons in what's essentially a financial war. The dismissed divorce petition isn't about second chances or working things out. It's about maintaining legal access to wealth while avoiding the scrutiny that would come with actual divorce proceedings. Birdman's decision to go public with these allegations suggests he's finally realized he's been outmaneuvered by someone whose entire relationship strategy was designed around long-term financial gain, and now he's fighting back with the only weapon he has left: the truth. This entire saga pulls back the curtain on something that's been happening in celebrity culture for decades, but rarely gets exposed with this level of detail and evidence. What we're witnessing isn't just one woman's alleged gold-digging scheme. It's a masterclass in how financial desperation can turn relationships into calculated business transactions that destroy lives and reputations. The Birdman and Toni Braxton situation reveals the dark side of celebrity relationships, where love becomes secondary to legal strategies, asset protection, and long-term financial planning. When you have this level of wealth disparity between partners, every romantic gesture becomes suspect. Every commitment gets analyzed through the lens of financial gain, and genuine emotions become impossible to distinguish from manipulation. The truth behind these gold digger allegations goes way deeper than just someone wanting expensive gifts or a luxurious lifestyle. What Birdman has exposed is a systematic, years-long campaign of emotional manipulation combined with legal maneuvering that almost resulted in one of the biggest financial transfers in celebrity relationship history. This wasn't about love gone wrong. This was about someone with a proven track record of financial fraud and bankruptcy manipulation, targeting one of hip-hop's wealthiest figures and nearly succeeding in securing access to hundreds of millions of dollars. The evidence speaks for itself. The timing of the secret wedding, the immediate divorce filing, the suspicious dismissal, and the pattern of financial desperation that spans decades. What makes this story so disturbing is how close it came to working perfectly. If Birdman hadn't woken up to what was happening, if his inner circle hadn't kept pushing him to see the truth, if that two-day marriage had lasted just long enough to establish legal precedent, we could be looking at one of the most successful long-term cons in entertainment history. The fact that someone with Toni's financial track record almost pulled this off shows just how vulnerable even the smartest, most successful people can be when emotions get involved and manipulation reaches this level of sophistication. As for what happens next, legal experts predict this is far from over. Birdman's public statements suggest he's preparing for a legal battle that could expose even more details about the financial arrangements and alleged manipulation that defined their relationship. There are rumors of forensic accountants being brought in to trace money flows, and questions about whether any financial transfers that happened during their brief marriage might be challenged in court. Meanwhile, Toni's silence on these allegations is speaking volumes. Usually someone fights back hard against accusations this serious unless they know the evidence might support the claims being made against them. The bigger picture here is what this reveals about the intersection of wealth, fame, and relationships in today's celebrity culture. When you have this much money at stake, traditional relationship dynamics get completely warped, and everyone becomes suspect of having ulterior motives. Birdman's decision to go public with these allegations will likely make other wealthy celebrities much more cautious about who they trust with their hearts and their bank accounts. This story serves as a wake-up call about the importance of protecting yourself financially, even when you think you found genuine love, because sometimes the person sleeping next to you is actually planning the biggest financial heist of their life.